Hi, this is a short video about the study guide for this month, which is August 2015. And the study guide focuses upon the forces of love, sex, and Eros. And it's a beautiful lecture. It speaks to many, many people. I find it very important because love, sex, and Eros speak to almost everyone. And secondly, because if you can learn the underlying currents of these forces in many, many different aspects of life, then you can see an interconnection there outside of the traditional understanding of romantic relationships, intimate relationships, etc. So just to go over two of them. Love. It's easier to learn love when you fall in love with someone. However, love is love. So whatever teaches you love in this world will have the same effect. Love opens the heart. Real love opens the heart. We open to receive the other, and we also open to be willing to give ourselves to the other. There's a certain risk in that. But the Eros, the urge to do so, it seems to minimize that risk. So Eros will send you hurtling towards the cliff, and love is a decision, a process of saying, yes, this isn't a cliff. This is a process that is important for me, for my beloved, and for others. Now, in terms of Eros, the way I teach it, is a soul movement. It's outlined in the study guide like that. It bypasses the rational mind, and yet there's a rationality to it. So Eros as a force will lead you to growth and learning through bizarre and strange ways. I'll give you an example. Today I watched a lot of articles about Jon Stewart leaving The Daily Show, and I watched some videos that they said highlights of his tenure. And I had never seen some of them. I had never seen his monologue, his opening monologue, on the first program after the 9/11 catastrophe. And if you can catch it on YouTube or video, Jon Stewart 9/11 will do it. It is really heart-wrenching. It's a very honest moment between him and the camera. And at some point he says, oh, we can edit this, but apparently they decided, no, don't edit it, just let it be what it is. And he talks about hopelessness and fear, and yet he isn't in despair. Now, why do I mention a comedy show monologue? Because love and Eros can happen under the most bizarre, strange, unusual, eclectic circumstances. At one point, Jon says during that monologue that they can't, I'm paraphrasing, they can't win because all they have is chaos. And chaos isn't fulfilling. It doesn't feel good. Now, that's a very short way of wonderfully describing what the Pathwork lectures describe at length about the finite quality of negativity. So my point is that you can watch a comedy show and gain truth. So if your impulse is not to read a lecture but to watch a comedy show, then if you follow that impulse honestly, and it isn't denial, it isn't avoidance, it isn't some negative impulse masquerading as a positive, but if you simply follow your natural impulses, I need to laugh a bit now, and you find a good comedian, someone who treats other people with respect, including themselves, you can gain a small moment of truth from a comedy show, a television show, a poem, a walk in the park, just as easily as you can from dedicated study of scripture, of Catholic lectures, of meditative process. So what I'm speaking of here is how love and Eros interact. Eros will lead you to it, And love is a process that you need to undertake, a commitment of some sort. Now, I found a video this month that incorporates the two of those. It also incorporates the forces of sex, the sex drive, which the guide describes as the life force. And my invitation to you is to consider that the sex drive is most easily identifiable, but its underlying meaning of being the life force can be identified in other aspects. And if we can't have a healthy sex life, or we don't have a sexual outlet, we will take that life force and we will put it into other aspects of our life. And if we're blocked in many areas of our life, that's why sometimes we overemphasize the sex drive, because it's carrying our desire to be present in the world, our life force. So sex as a universally recognized expression of life force is how the guide works with sexuality. So the sex drive is not inherently romantic or even moral. And that is, of course, why it gets into trouble sometimes, because it's stark, it's a little cold, it's a little bare. And we may not enjoy a meal, but we need to eat. There are some aspects of life that simply have to be done. It's lovely to have pleasure with our meal. It's lovely to have companionship with our meal. And sometimes we just eat to live. Sometimes the life force inspires wonderfully creative events and opportunities, and sometimes it just keeps us going, keeps us alive. So my invitation to you is to explore how these different forces may show up in your life, and to appreciate the force even if it isn't where you might like it to be. Now, I found a movie that illustrates all three aspects, which is not easy to do. And the movie is an English movie called Separate Lies, Lies, And I took the movie and I cut it down into a Cliff Notes version, a 26-minute section, highlighting the different places the characters go. And it looks like a thriller, a murder mystery at first. But then it suddenly turns a corner. And the reason the movie, I think, has great significance for displaying the forces of love, sex, and eros is, yes, there's a sex component to it in romantic relationship, but there's also a sex component in terms of life drive and wanting a successful life, a life that moves. It holds the eros component in terms of one of the central characters, the wife, Anne, her uncontrollable desire to do something, to be with someone that breaks the rules and gets her into trouble, and she simply can't manage the desire. But the bigger point of the movie is that because she follows this, because she gets into trouble with it, and interferes with the life drive of her husband, there comes to a really unusual place of love, set off by an act of forgiveness. So I left in this 20-minute section the evidence of what was forgiven and why. And then I kept going after the thriller part is over to show how each one of the four characters decided to embrace love, to care and be open and generous. So that the movie is actually a love story. It's where you can get to because of life events rather than despite life events. And that's what I feel that the lectures invite us to do. Not to be foolish and stupid for the sake of thrill, but some of the things we do look foolish and feel stupid. and there may be a deeper purpose behind them. And this to me is the essence of Eros. So after this video, I have uploaded the 26-minute segment. It's not findable on YouTube by any other search. It's only here because I'm not trying to invade copyright. I'm just trying to use it for teaching. So I hope you enjoy it. And I do hope you might consider getting the entire movie, even though the point is given in this one, and it is a spoiler. So if you want to, just watch the movie first, and then you can watch the 26-minute digest and see where I'm pointing you in terms of using the film to understand spiritual concepts. So thanks for listening.